Well, Master Cho came across as a very quiet man back then. Really a man of few words. He would enter the healing center, and then he would just begin to heal. But he had this powerful presence. He was a strict teacher. His standards were very, very high.
My first impression of our teacher is he is a person for others. He's a man for others. He's so humble. He would always give time to listen to anyone, and he would also give time to do healing on anyone that would ask for help. I got several feedback from the recipients of the healing that they were healed. And I asked them to verify it with a medical doctor. And so even those people with kidney stones or cancer cells, they claim that they were healed because there's a medical proof.
Master Cho always came across as someone who was relaxed when he does these things. It's like he just breezes through his schedule. He was very graceful. The expression, when people move through life with grace, like there are bumps on the road, there are ups and downs, but they move through life smoothly.
If you ask people who have been with him for a long time, your respect for him, your love, and your ability to comprehend who he is, what he can do, changes over time. Master Choa is really a master energy healer, and he's also a spiritual teacher that have taught almost tens of thousands of spiritual aspirants throughout the whole world. And you're talking also of hundreds of thousands of pranic healers throughout the whole world.
No, Master gave us a lot of pearls, pearls of wisdom. But probably one that I can share that may not be the same as the others was I was really complaining. And so I said, Master, it's so difficult to work with this person. And he said, okay. And he, has this expression, spit it out. So I started, right? And I was not even one half of my complaint. And he said, Nona, wait, are you perfect? So from that time on, shut mouth. So I learned from that you're not perfect. So you don't expect perfection from others.
Everything I have now is because of learning from him. And one thing that I think, if I will remember, Master, he is a role model of what he teaches. If he teaches generosity, he practices generosity.
Master Cho, he was very selfless, he cared a lot for people. He genuinely wanted to heal people. He genuinely wanted to help people. After he passed away, I remember we discovered that he had a lot of charitable activities, which he did not really mention to us when he was still in the body.
2 special healings he did. One was herniated disc, like severe herniated disc that all doctors say, 3 doctors said, you need to have surgery tomorrow. So severe that she couldn't even sit in the car properly. She was kneeling on the floor, and then the elbows were in the car. That's how bad it is. And when Master came, obviously he knew that she was suffering. He was healing her, and at that time he would just heal people during breaks, lines of people, mobs of people. And then that woman was giving him 3 gold coins. That time it was like $400 per gold coin, 1 ounce gold coin. So what are you doing? Keep that money.
The one that I remember was in a room of 300 to 500 people. He asked for people who have back pain or neck pain or any pain. And in that many people, you probably have 40, 50 people stand up. And he essentially, in less than 5 minutes, healed all of them. And he said, okay, whoever has no pain, sit down. In 5 minutes' time, everybody sat down.
You become a better person if you emulate somebody that always tried to better themselves.
I should always make it become the center of my teachings. Whatever would be the course I would teach, is that the person should have a better character.
We are all spiritual beings. We came from one God. Even you belong to a different religion. We actually call on the same God, only in different names.
The barriers that people have, their preconceptions, no, their biases, they drop and fall just by being patient and tolerant. And the other important lesson I learned from Master Cho was to be diligent. In this particular case, Grandmaster led more by example than by words. He would be there ahead of time.
Two things. The Twin Hearts meditation tells us, it reminds us of what we are supposed to be. Love, forgiving, faithful, trusting. We should be happy, joyful, and we give light to others. And that is the only thing that will give us peace. And tithing. Tithing says you give, the more you give, the more you receive. These are the words of St. Paul. What you plant, you will harvest.
I think the important part to remember is, with all the hard work Grandmaster Cho has put in, it also planted a lot of seeds in people. And because of that, they already have it within them that this is something that's special, something that will help humanity. So even though he's not in the body, a lot of us are inspired to continue the work. Now that he's not here to babysit us, we have to, work harder to get the message out so that more people can benefit.
I think one thing is the opportunity to understand the bigger picture. Like when I teach, I do not anymore look at my students as physical bodies. I see them as souls evolving. And then when I look at what people suffer from, like some people are rich, but they are sick. Some people have money, but they are lonely. Some people are surrounded with so many good things, but you do not see the sparkle in their eyes. So for me, when I do the work, I know that I'm doing something greater than myself.
I can't see myself doing anything else. And when you see people's lives transformed every single week, that's your drug. When you see people's lives being transformed, that's what you live for.
The love for Master. And for the work, pranic healing is a way of life. You see the transformation of people just from the basic. The joy of a teacher seeing that transformation, you cannot exchange just for anything.
The great vision of our teacher, which I love so much, heaven on earth. But I'm sure we can attain this great vision without first having heaven within. And that is what pranic healing is trying to do.
Pranic healing is critical to the upliftment and development of humanity because most people are very attached to the material world. Pranic healing gives you a bridge to understand the things that are not material by understanding how energy affects you, by understanding how your emotions affect you, your thoughts, how it could affect your relationships, how it could affect your finances, your level of spiritual development, your inner peace. All of that will be very difficult for most people without understanding the key ingredient, which is energy.
We're trying to integrate ourselves with the medical system, and other modalities. I firmly believe that the future of any, whether it's pranic healing or any healing modality, has to be in the field of integration with other healing arts.
One of the teachings of Master, whether you are a pranic healer, a Hatik, a practitioner, or an ordinary person, without character development, you will not proceed in your spiritual development.
I feel I found the right man, my teacher and my gurus. And after is normally in coming to teach a diffuser. For me, it like to flow. It like to river. No, is like to water flow in the river, and with the blessing of the Master Cho.
The first time I looked at him to understand, because I knew other spiritual paths. So I wanted to understand very well who was him. And the devotion and the love for him grew slowly.
This master can do this and that. I continue to repeat with much patience for permit this person to grow spiritually. Master said, I continue to stay with you. Also after I remain with you for a long time more. Don't worry. I was present. It's true.
I was very impressed with the system that was being presented, with their zeal for doing work to help others. Master had envisioned for alleviating suffering of other people.
Well, Master is just an ordinary guy. I mean, you know, just Chinese looking, tall. And he said in his speech, now the Philippines, tomorrow the world.